Hey guys, how's it going? It's Austin. Hey, I'm going to be giving you my startup presentation on a company called Bloomscape. Bloomscape, as you can see, it's got something to do with plant sales. And immediately after finding this company, I decided I was going to present on it, really because of this common theme of a lot of us in the class enjoying plants. For example, in our last $5 challenge, we had Janine. Janine was selling succulents, and then we had Molly, and she was selling plant cuttings and divisions from plants that were a lot like, or exactly like, these ones that Bloomscape offers. Even myself, in the past few months, I've gotten pretty addicted, really, into turning my room into a bit of a jungle. So let's go through Bloomscape a bit and see if you guys decide that you want to do the same with your room. So Bloomscape, a little bit about them. They were developed and are founded in 2018 in Detroit, Michigan. And what they are, it's an e-commerce website that sells live plants. So immediately when I heard that, my first thought is, what's their packaging like? How the heck do they get live plants from wherever they keep them to your house? They don't have any, with a quick look at their website, they didn't have any geographical restrictions of where you lived in the United States as long as you lived in the United States. So be thinking about that, because it's got to be a competitive advantage that they have. It's how they ship their product. So remember that going forward. But nonetheless, the goal of Bloomscape was to make buying plants more enjoyable without spending any more money than going to a nursery. According to Bloomscape, they really felt like there was a hassle in buying and even finding plants. They said that a lot of people, when they decide on a plant that they like, they want nothing but that type of plant, and which can be kind of difficult to find. And if you don't have enough room in your car, making a big mess. So Bloomscape really felt like they were solving that problem. And another problem they felt like they were solving was the time in between transit and it ending up at your house. So what Bloomscape does is they take it straight from the greenhouses in which they own and ships directly to your door. And we'll get into a little bit of more of the logistics of their supply chain in just a minute. But let's look into Bloomscape and their past, like really how they came to be. It's a really cool story, actually. It's kind of one of those where you look at it and be like, of course Bloomscape came to life by just looking at their family and what they're good at. So Bloomscape comes from 5 generations of growers and workers in the foil industry, which is pretty phenomenal. And that's the owner, Justin Mast. They trace their roots all the way back to horticulture industry pioneers in the Netherlands. Justin, who's the founder of Bloomscape, started at a really young age working and learning about his family business, who were suppliers of really young plants to greenhouses all across the United States. So it gave Justin quite an in, really, in understanding the logistics of how to transport plants. So that's the backbone of Bloomscape. It's how to transport these plants. That, again, is their competitive advantage. And it was the first thing that I thought of as being their big mountain to climb when I first read about this company, Bloomscape. So Justin took his understanding of the supply chain and the logistics of horticulture transportation, and he founded this company called Bloomscape. So again, what sets them apart? It's what we've been talking about this whole time. What I told you to remember, it's the delivery. According to Bloomscape and some outside research, that the average plant, whether you order it, whether you get it at Home Depot, Home Goods, or a nursery, the average time of transit is 4 weeks until it gets from its greenhouse to wherever you're going to store it. And in that time, it's crucial for the plant's health, because in that 4 weeks, the plant might not be getting all the attention or the nourishment that it needs. But with Bloomscape, these plants are kept at optimal conditions in their greenhouse before shipped directly to you, and in only about 3 to 4 days. So it takes that time where the plant could really be getting some harm done to it and cuts that down to 3 or 4 days and ships it directly to your home. So then the question still arises, how do they do it? How do they ship, like you see on the right-hand side, that box and with the Bloomscape logo on the side? How do they get that to your house with this plant intact? So this is how. It says to keep the box upright. Myself, I never trust, say, UPS, which they ship these boxes through UPS. UPS or FedEx, it's hard to trust them. I've received packages that are really beat up in the past. My product's still good, but plants, of course, a whole lot more fragile. But it shows you what the inside of the package looks like. And if you can see on this step 3, you can see the whole pot, because these plants come already potted. So you can see the whole pot is protected to keep this plant standing upright. Even if it was laying on its side, it's not pressing against the plant itself is not pressing up against the sides of the cardboard box. It's wrapped, as you can see here. I'm going to move myself, but the roots in the soil is wrapped in a cocoa fiber mat on top of the soil that really keeps everything in. And the soil also has, as I'll talk about in a minute, also has a bonding agent in it that keeps soil packed down and doesn't disrupt it so much in movement. To also keep the temperature of not the plants, not the leaves of the plants, but the soil. It's wrapped in a gray Spanish moss. And that's something, as the picture says, that you can either keep on it or take off, but that thing's really used for transportation. So you can see just from these pictures how well they really do their packaging. And that really sets them apart right there. If they can get your plant from greenhouse to your door in 3 or 4 days, like, this is the route to buy plants. And if it can look like that, I think that's pretty astounding. So then when I see that, I'm like, that's awesome. Well, do they have a patent on it? For my next slide, we can see down here that they have filed a patent on some of the technology from the plant packing. I didn't see that any of it was, I know that takes quite a bit of time, and they probably have only done this in 2018, maybe 2017. So I didn't find anything as of 2020 that gives them patented rights to the technology of their packaging. But nonetheless, that packaging is their competitive advantage right there. Bloomscape has raised a total of $24 million through venture capital fundraising, and what's crazy is $15 million of that was raised during a Series B funding just earlier this year during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was a company that was one of those fortunate winners during a really big economic crisis. During that time as well, this was just really a few months ago, that they acquired a plant app called Vera. This plant app is really for knowledge and education for plant health, taking care of your plants, and how each plant reacts individually to the way that you treat it via sunlight, indoors, how much indoors, humidity, and all of that. Like I said, they use this proprietary soil mix that has a bonding agent in it that really keeps that soil together as it's in transport, but it is that you would want to switch out once it arrives at your house. And they are looking into regional fulfillment strategies to build more plant distribution centers, so they can even cut down further on that 3 to 4 days. But yeah, that's Bloomscape for you guys. I'm definitely going to be a customer, I think, in the near future. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it. Have a good one.